So hi, welcome to Good Noise Podcast with Saint Judas. We're gonna ask him some questions today. I'm gonna start. So, what inspired you to start the project, and what does the project name mean?
Oh God. Um, okay. So I've always like been into music. Like I grew up playing guitar. I played this is too much information, but I played in my church band growing up. I grew up like really religious. So like music's always been like a really big part of my life. And let's just say like some really not cool things happened in my life, and it just kind of like pushed me over the edge, I guess. And like I had all these feelings, I guess, that just were culminating and culminating, and there came a point where I just kind of snapped, and I wrote a song. I wrote Therapy, which a lot of people like to meme on me about, but I wrote that song in kind of like a fit of rage, and I kind of cringe at it now, but um, I showed it to a couple people, and they were like, "Shit, dude! Like this is awesome! Like, I had a one friend that was like, "I love the song. Like, I want you to keep making music," and I was like, "Keep making music? Okay." So I just kept making music, and it's kind of, I wouldn't say ironic, but it's kind of funny that like the first song that I made was called Therapy, because music has really been kind of a form of therapy for me to just kind of get all of the worst parts of me out onto paper and onto the recording and just let them out. And it's been really awesome. And so this project, it means a lot to me. It it's something very personal, which is why it's hard sometimes, to put yourself out there, I guess. And every time I release something, I'm like, oh God, I don't know if this is too personal or if this is terrible or whatever. But at the end of the day, like I just keep telling myself I make these songs for me, and people seem to really like them. And I've had a few people tell me that like they it it vocalizes certain feelings that they have, and they really appreciate me, putting it out there. And I was like, cool, then I'll keep doing it. So
Oh,
All
I
right.
keep doing it. I know that's like really personal, but like this project is really personal to me, so it's kind of hard for me not to go there.
Yeah, I get
yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's cool. Uh, did you touch on the uh name?
The name,
Hmm.
oh yeah, Saint Judas.
Hmm.
So like I said, I grew up very religious.
Hmm.
Which is not a problem to me. I'm no longer religious, but I have. This isn't like an anti-religion thing,
Hmm.
but it's always kind of been a, a big stepping stone for me, or a big part of my life. It was a big part of my life, and it continues to be so. And Judas Iscariot was always kind of like an interesting character to me, for a lot of reasons. And I read a play in college called, I don't know if you guys read it. It's wonderful. It's called The Last Days of Judas Iscariot. It was on Broadway, I think, for a while. And the whole point of the play is that Judas is on trial because heaven and hell don't know where to send him.
Hmm.
And I always thought that was like a really interesting idea, that like hell doesn't want Judas, or the what the play basically says is like hell doesn't want Judas because without him betraying Jesus, he the whole saving humanity and dying for the sins of humanity would have never happened. And I
Hmm.
was like blown away by that thought. I was like, oh my God, like there's like it was almost as if it was like necessary.
Yeah.
um so it was just kind of one of those things where I was like, wow, most of my life I really kind of misunderstood this character. And it it's kind of, I'm sorry, it's kind of hard to articulate.
It's okay.
But he just kind of fascinates me. He feels, after I read that play and after doing my whole things that happened. Like I just kind of looked at that character in a different light, and it was always something that kind of meant a lot to me, because I've always felt, I don't know, really misunderstood, and at times I feel like I'm a terrible person and I do these terrible things. And then I look at Judas, who's like the worst person in the world according to the Bible, and it's like, you know, without him, one of the supposedly best things to happen to the planet would have never happened. So it kind of gave me solace, I guess, to think that, like, you know, a lot of people are misunderstood in the world. And I don't know, it's always really fascinated me. I just remember like being in my bed at night, because I had made those songs without having a name for my band or my project or whatever you want to call it. And I literally like was just thinking, I was like, things that I really like, blah, blah, blah. And it just like came to me, and I like texted my buddy immediately, and I was like, does this band name sound lame? He's like, no, I don't think so. And I was like, I think this is what I want my band to be. He goes, okay, dude, I'm going back to bed. So, I don't know. That's the story, I guess, more or less. I could talk about that forever, because it just fascinates me. But that's kind of more or less why I call myself that, or the project that, or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really cool. I never thought of it that way. That's
Yeah, it kind of blew my mind. I really recommend the play. I'm a big theater person, so like I read lots of plays, and that is one of my favorite plays. And it's a very fascinating take on the whole idea of like heaven and hell, and Judas, the character. He's not even the main character in the show, but it's just absolutely fascinating to read. Yeah. And so I highly recommend it if you like that kind of stuff. If you don't, understandable.
Okay, thank you. So you recently released an EP, Songs for Dorian.
Yeah, Dorian. Yeah,
Dorian. Sick. How do you feel about the response to it so far?
It's been really overwhelming. We recently passed 1,000 listens on Spotify for one of my songs, which is like something I never thought would happen, especially with that project. It was kind of a step back from the release I did prior to that, because I had one of my buddies help me produce it, and he like is really big into music, and he's been in the industry or whatever for a while, so he kind of knew his way around. And I moved, and so I was away from him, and I had all these songs that I wanted to record, so I tried doing it on my own, you know, the tried and true DIY right there. So it's kind of crazy to think that like people have enjoyed the songs as much as they have, and you know, it's not a lot, but to me it's like I didn't think like 5 people would listen to my music, and so like to think that more than that have, it just kind of blows my mind, and I'm really like overwhelmed. Especially since the project is like super sad, and like I don't know, all my music is sad, but I don't know, it's just weird to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, congrats on that.
Yeah, no,
I'm happy for you. Yeah.
So can you tell me a little bit about your writing process for that EP?
So my writing process, I guess, depends on like where I'm at personally. All of my music comes from like things that I experience and how I'm feeling. A lot of the times the songs, you know, I spend months and months like, oh, I gotta get like a verse, or I gotta get a melody, and it takes forever. And then like one shitty night, I'm alone in my room and I just diddle on my guitar and I've got a full blown song, and it's like, how does that happen? So that's kind of the process that it goes through. I mean, like with Dorian, at least, like in my, like what was going on in my life was that I was moving, and there's a lot of changes that were happening. And the hurricane, that was last year when the Hurricane Dorian was passing. So that's why I called it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I get it.
Because I moved to Florida, so it was kind of like, it was almost foreboding, as if like this hurricane kind of represented like all these like feelings that I have and insecurities and how terrible I was feeling like all the time. And I wrote these songs like leading up to the move, and then I kind of finished them after I moved. So like that was the process for that one in particular. But it changes, you know. I mean, like right now I'm working on some songs, and it's a combination of like just things I've been experiencing, stories I want to tell, but it usually just comes from like an emotional place. So it's really hard for me to force my music, which is why it takes me forever to release new stuff. You
Yeah.
know, I want them to be like perfect, and I want to tell the story I want to tell, and so I don't try to force it. I just kind of let the emotions come to me when they come to me, and it's usually in a dark room when I'm really, really sad.
Oh, all right. Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
So you kind of already went into it a little bit, but can you tell me where your headspace was while creating this EP?
Dorian or
Mhm.
okay. I think the headspace, I don't want to just say sad, because of course I was sad, but the headspace I was in was very like uncertain. Because like I had just graduated from college, and I have the world in front of me, and I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing with my life. And uh, I had this huge move coming up where I was moving to Florida, and I was just like, I was I was I was freaking out. I mean, I was panicking, honestly. And I was like, is this the right choice? Am I doing the right thing? Like all of these things that are happening right now where I was, which was in Nashville, like was already overwhelming me because I'm a very easily overwhelmed person. And so like this move on top of it was just this like bearing bearing down on me like a hurricane. And I just like I was in a very overwhelmed and an unsure headspace during the whole writing process. And eventually, you know, I finished the songs, and I feel like they encapsulated the way I was feeling. But I don't know, that was kind of how I was feeling, you know, during that writing process, at least, you know.
Okay. All right. So what band or artist influences do you think you can hear the most on this EP?
That's a good question. I don't know. It's hard to say because like I'm listening to a lot of different music like all the time, and I have a lot of different influences. Around the time I was writing Dorian, I was listening to a lot of the Mountain Goats. I mean, I'm always listening to a lot of the Mountain Goats, but I was listening to a lot of them. I was listening to a lot of Front Bottoms. I don't know. I have all these influences, and I just kind of, I would say probably like the Mountain Goats would be like the biggest influence on the EP. But when I was writing it, I just kind of, again, like I was just making the music, and I wasn't really thinking about my influences, although I probably did it subconsciously. I don't know. I'm going to say the Mountain Goats. That's my final answer.
Mountain Goats.
All
right, solid.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So this one should go like super, super fast. I want you to describe this EP in 3 words.
Wet, like rainy. Stoplights, and oh geez, being overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed. Okay.
Okay. Those are very odd descriptive words.
Yeah, but it works.
It works.
Because it's named after a hurricane. So like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
Right.
it's
So is there a certain feeling you want your listeners to have while listening to this EP?
I don't want listeners to feel sad, although a lot of people tell me that they feel sad after listening to my music. Although I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. For me, when I listen to music, you know, I appreciate artists, you know, putting themselves out there and putting those emotions out there, because it lets me know. Oh shoot, sorry. It lets me know that like I'm I'm not alone, you know, like there are other people in the world that feel the same way that I do and describe them in such specific ways where you're just like, did this person like live my life? Like
Mm-hmm.
this is exactly how I feel right now.
Yeah.
And so I guess like what I want listeners to feel is I want them to know that like there are other people out there that are dealing with maybe not the exact same thing that they're dealing, because nobody knows exactly what you're feeling, but they are also going through similar walks of life, and that, you know, you as a listener are not alone, and it's okay to feel alone, but you're not, and you are going to be able to make it. So
Oh,
that's
that
Very
was very
wholesome.
wholesome.
yeah,
I like that.
I don't know. Like that's what music means to me, and like I've always looked at this project as kind of my passing on of the torch. Like
Yeah.
music really helped me out of a lot of dark places, and I don't know if I can do that, but I would like to try, and I want people to know that like I feel terrible all the time, but I'm trying, and you're not alone in trying. So I don't know.
All right.
All right.
So you did mention that it takes a little bit more extra time to write songs and make
Yeah.
songs, but are there any projects on the horizon? Are you writing right
Oh.
now? Do you have any songs already done? EPs, albums? What are we talking about here?
So many songs. Not to me, it's so many songs. I'm working on like so much right now. Some of which I don't know if I should talk about, but the
Do
stuff that
you?
I know that I can. I was writing an album, like a full length LP,
Oh,
and I wrote a couple of songs for it, and then the 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 thing, the current world
oh,
event
Corona. Yeah,
happened.
yeah. It's
That
like,
happened,
mhm.
and I, again, out of that fit of like, because like my dog died, which was really hard,
I'm
and
sorry.
then I lost my job, and then a lot of stuff happened.
Yeah.
And so I wrote a couple songs like out of that fit of emotion, and I was like, these don't really fit on the LP thematically, so so those songs are part of a current EP that I'm working. I guess you can call it like my quarantine project, but quarantine will probably be, I hope, oh please God, let it be,
Please.
please let it be over by the time this project is out. I wanted it to be out by the end of the year, but again, my process, like I want it to be perfect, so it's taking a while, but the songs are mostly finished. I'm in the recording process slash finishing some of the writing on one song in particular, which is my white whale at the moment. But there is an EP on the horizon very quickly. A lot of cool things I got planned for that, and hopefully I can get back into writing my or finishing my LP. But who knows how long? That'll be a new meme or something like that's when is the LP one coming out? I don't know. It's coming out when it comes out.
Whenever. All right.
Yeah,
When
take
EPs
your
come
time.
in,
Yeah.
you know, that'll be fun
All
or
right.
whatever. I mean, it's been fun. It's been fun it's been different. I've been trying some new things. Nervous about that because, you know, I feel like I've sort of become known for a certain aesthetic, and trying new things is always like, ooh, is that? Ooh, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's been really fun though. I've been wanting like I've been dancing a lot. Like I'll be listening to them back, and I'll just be dancing in my room alone. Like
That's always good.
and I'm
always
just like,
good.
yes, these are bangers. I love
Mhm.
this. They're probably not as good as I think they are, but
Aw.
I'm dancing, and that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
Exactly.
As long as you
Exactly.
like
Mhm.
it. So where do you see this project in the next 5 years? Will LP1 be out by then?
Please let it be out by then.
Hey,
I don't
LP2.
LP2. Oh, you know what? My sophomore album? That'd be sick. I don't honestly, I don't know. Right now I want to make the Saint Aluminum tour happen. I don't know if you know Big Aluminum,
Of
but
course.
I love that dude. He's my spirit animal, and so is his dog, and I love that dog so much. And we keep joking with each other about having once the current world event is over, that we'll go on tour together. And like that's something that I'm actually like I'm taking 100% seriously, and I want to happen. So hopefully going on tour would be kind of cool. Hopefully finishing the album, but like I don't make my music to like, I don't know, be a big time musician. Like that's not my my goal. It really is just, I just want to keep making music. I want to hopefully impact some lives if I can, or have some lives impact me, because God knows I need it. So just hopefully just making more music, you know, just more music. That's all I see in 5 years is more music. Whether or not that's good or bad, I don't know why it would be bad, but
Yeah, hope not.
I try not to. I'm so focused on like my projects right now that I guess I haven't really thought about like where I want this to go. But hopefully, at least, you know, straight.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Forward.
Up would be good too.
Up would be great. I mean,
Up would be great.
I don't know. But you know, at least forward. I would hate to be 5 years from now and I stop making music. Like that just terrifies me. I would hate that. I don't know why I would, but 5 years from now, I'm going to listen to this podcast and be like, God damn it. What was I thinking?
Oh, God.
So if you're listening, future me, don't stop. Don't stop.
Don't stop. All right. So I like that one. So for the last couple questions, we're actually going to shift away from music, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, sure.
Sick. Let's go to death row then.
Boom.
So
Okay.
if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
With a drink. My drink would be Inca Cola. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's served in Peru a lot, and like Latin. They have it down here in Florida, which is awesome. So I'd want a glass of Inca Cola and a burger. I don't know, just a normal burger. Like I'm a burger guy. I always order a burger, so I probably just want a nice burger before I go.
All right.
Solid. So if you could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
Oh, fictional world? Jeez. This is all I could think about is The Inheritance Cycle by Christopher Paolini for some reason. Which is weird because I haven't read that in so long. So I guess my mind is telling me dragons right now. So I'm going to say the world of Aragon with dragons.
Yeah, taste. All right. So I have the honor of asking the last question, and every single person we've spoken to has said it's the most important question.
Oh no. Okay, I probably will agree, but yes, I'm ready. I think I'm ready. I'm ready.
What's your favorite color?
My favorite color? I don't like to pick favorites. I'm sorry.
What's like your top 3?
Top 3?
You don't have to say which one's number 1, but just
I really like orange, but not like bright orange, like a pale orange.
Yeah.
You know?
Pastel.
Like a pastel, like a muted orange. I like that for some. I'm a big fall person. I like pumpkins, so maybe that's why. So orange is cool. I like purple, but again, not like bright purple, like almost like have a greenish tint to it. I don't know.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, and then I'll stick with those 2 for now. Yellow, I like yellow too. I would just
you should.
Yeah, all the colors have great aspects about them, and I love them all. Maybe not equally, but you know, mostly equally.
All right, solid.
So as Gloria said, that is all the questions we have today. Is there anything you'd like to plug?
Plug? I'm gonna plug my boy Big Aluminum because that's all I can think about right now. So if you guys haven't listened to Big Aluminum, listen to it because he's got a new LP out soon. I have nothing to do with it. He did not tell me to say this. I just love that man so much that I want him to succeed. And if people are watching me that have not listened to his music for whatever reason, go listen to it because it's so good.
Hell yeah. All right.
Solid.
Well, thank you for sitting down with us. This has been Saint Judas and we're the Good Noise Podcast.